We are not yet ready to begin. While I finish preparations, I suggest you speak to the liaisons of our allies.
Thank you, Admiral. I'll talk to you.
The Cooperative asked me to inform you that they appreciate your assistance, and are prepared to provide what assistance they can in the final battle against the Vaadwaur.
I know that the Cooperative wants from you. What do they have to offer?
The Cooperative's main weapon is adapted Borg technology. Cooperative vessels can confuse the systems of opposing ships and cause them to fire on friendly targets. This tactic is most effective in mixed groups of ships, where the Cooperative can turn the larger vessels against the smaller ones.
Thank you, sir.
The Cooperative appreciates your partnership, and we are eager to end the Vaadwaur threat to our quadrant. Our technological capabilities are at your disposal.
Appreciate your assistance. Not sound like an answer a Klingon would give, though.
I'm not sure I completely trust the Kazon after our experience with Maj Sesson, but they say they'll fight for us today. Maybe you'll have better luck reaching a consensus with them than I did.
What will the Kazon provide?
The Kazon have a large number of ships and fight without fear. However, their lack of organization makes slotting them into precise battle formations problematic. They'll go to war with you, but they may not follow every order.
Thank you, Captain.
The Kazon are eager for battle. Our enemies will fall today. All of them.
Or just fighting by your side.
Good to see you again. Through my excellent diplomatic skills and some assistance from Admiral Tuvok, I have managed to convince the Hierarchy Board of Directors that assisting us in this battle and ensuring the end of the Vaadwaur will improve their long-term profits. The Hierarchy are experts at surveillance and espionage. If the Vaadwaur try any tricks, the Hierarchy would be the ones we should send to subvert them.
Thank you, Doctor.
Greetings. The Hierarchy is anticipating a profitable transaction under your guidance. Our surveillance and tactical capabilities are at your disposal.
We anticipate mutually beneficial arrangement.
We have a firm contract with the Hazari. It would bring them great dishonor to fail to complete it, so I expect that we'll have their full support in this battle.
What do they do for us?
The Hazari ships usually fight in pairs. One ship hangs back and provides shield support for the other. This gives them excellent defensive capabilities, but it comes at a cost. Their firepower isn't quite as strong as it would be if they weren't so dedicated to protection.
Thank you, Niels.
Greetings. The Hazari will uphold our end of the contract to the letter, and we expect you to do the same. We specialize in defense, and our ships are at your disposal.
We appreciate your acceptance of our contract.
The presentation will begin momentarily. Perhaps you would be willing to check in with the representatives of our other allies. We invited Eldex's people and the Hirogen, but neither group chose to send a representative.
Greetings. The Benthan Guard is honored to join you in the fight against the Vaadwaur. We dedicate our lives to promoting law and order throughout the Delta Quadrant. Finding someone else with the same ideals is unusual, but most gratifying.
Support of your people is greatly appreciated.
It's an honor to meet you again. I am eternally grateful for your assistance on my world. By joining you in this fight, perhaps I can begin to repay a small portion of the life debt my people owe you.
Support of your people is greatly.
Greetings. Aiding you against the Vaadwaur was a difficult decision for our people. We do not wish to ally with you, but we understand that ending Gaul's reign of terror is more important than our discomfort.
Support of your people is greatly.
Hello again. You've done so much to help us. It's only right that we help you this time.
Thank
If you are ready, I will begin the presentation.
Go ahead, Admiral.
The bulk of the Vodwar fleet has pulled back to Vodwar Prime. We expect to face the final might of the Vodwar, including Gaul's flagship. Our battle there will have 5 fronts, each progressively closer to the planet. Our rendezvous point will be here, where the mineral content of the moon will help to hide our ships. The Tuareg will secure the subspace tunnels in this area, while the Kabali will help the wounded.
The Admiral has already given us our assignment. Our forces will assault the other side of the planet to secure the area against a possible retreat. Our Talaxian friends will be in charge of transporting prisoners of war.
To give us the best possible chance of success, our battle commander will be able to call in one wing of our allies at each of the first 4 fronts. Each wing of allies has different tactical advantages. The cooperative can confuse enemies. The Kazon have many ships and fight without fear. The hierarchy have unparalleled espionage and surveillance abilities and should be difficult to take by surprise. Hazari vessels fight in pairs, with one ship reinforcing the other's shields. This battle will be difficult, but we must prevail. The fleet is ready to begin the assault. I will remain behind to coordinate their movements, while you will be commanding the battle from the field. We have 4 wings of allies at our disposal to help you break through the Vodwar lines. I recommend deploying 1 wing in each area. Are you ready to begin? Vodwar have sent out several large frigate scout forces. Which wing of allies do you want to assist you?
What's your advice, Admiral?
We are facing a large number of rather weak vessels. We need ships that would not be overwhelmed by numbers. The Kazon might be a good choice, because they have a large number of ships as well. The Hazari, another good option, because their powerful defensive capabilities would help in this situation. The Cooperative would perhaps not be a good choice. They could be overwhelmed by the number of Vodwar frigates.
Thank you, Admiral.
The Vodwar have sent out several large frigate scout forces. Which wing of allies do you want to assist you? An excellent choice. The Kazon number should be a match for the frigates, and their lack of organization should not be too great of a hindrance.
Something's not right here. The Kazon are in the wrong position, and they aren't responding to my hails. Worried they might double-cross us, but I never thought they would be so blatant. But come to think of it, they did say some pretty suspicious things during the briefing. Fortunately, Admiral Tuvok and I have a backup plan. Sesson has been encroaching on Hirogen territory for some time. They'll join us in battle for a chance to collect his ship as a trophy.
secured the subspace tunnels. The Vaadwaur will not be able to use them to attack or to retreat.
We shall establish a medical flotilla and secure the area. Vessels of the fleet can transport any wounded, including Vaadwaur, to our ships for treatment.
The Vaadwaur have set up a cruiser picket line in this area. Which ally do you want to advance? We are facing a picket line of cruisers, so we need ships that can withstand constant, persistent attacks. The Hazari could be a good choice. Their defensive capabilities would be a good match for the Vaadwaur cruisers. I believe the Cooperative would also be sufficient to the task. I would not recommend the Hierarchy, however. Their ships are more suited to espionage and surveillance, so fighting a large number of moderately powered vessels would not be advantageous. The Vaadwaur have set up a cruiser picket line in this area. Which ally do you want to advance? A sound tactical choice. The Hazari methods utilize one ship to reinforce the shields of another. Vaadwaur cruisers do not have the firepower to break through the reinforced shielding.
Kazon Ogla will no longer stand by while the Relora and Nistrum sully our name with their treachery. I will make good on their false promises.
Frankly, Jal Carden, surprised in your nobility, but glad for your help.
Defenses are too strong. The Vaadwaur can't get through. The Vaadwaur are starting to pull back.
satellite.
First wave of Vadwar defenders, and we are entering position for our next offensive. Resistance has been heavier than expected, but our ships have so far proved equal to the task.
Excellent work, Captain. Keep me appraised of your situation.
Please remember to direct any wounded or prisoners of war to our flotilla at Alpha Front.
No.
That went well. What do you want me to do now?
Hold the area while we proceed to the next.
The Vadwar have constructed a defensive line of battleships supported by frigates. Which wing of allies would you like to help you? We are facing battleships flying in formation with frigates, so we need ships that can disable the larger ships or otherwise neutralize their tactics. The Cooperative would be a good choice. Their ability to confuse the opponents could result in the larger ships destroying the smaller ones with friendly fire. The Hierarchy would likewise be a strong option. Their espionage and surveillance tactics may allow them to isolate the larger ships.
Thank you, Captain.
The Vadwar have constructed a defensive line of battleships supported by frigates. Which wing of allies would you like to help you? The Hierarchy should be adequate to the task. They should be able to surprise and disable the larger ships, crippling the firepower of their battle groups.
I expect the performance of the hierarchy to be more than simply adequate to the task.
Vodwar have constructed a defensive line of battleships. However, knowing the Vodwar, they might be planning a surprise attack. We only have one wing of allies remaining, so we have little choice. You will have to deploy the remaining ships. The Vodwar have constructed a reasonable choice. The cooperative ships can be effective against large ships. Let us hope the Vodwar do not have surprises in store for us.
Performing within expected parameters. Our technological superiority is more than sufficient to deal with the Vodwar activities. Vodwar forces in this area have been defeated. What are your orders?
Hold this area and proceed while we proceed to the next.
However, in doing so, we have exhausted our supply of allies, and the Vodwar dreadnoughts are formidable. This will be a difficult fight.
You have to press on, even if it's alone.
Not quite alone. The Hirogen have matters well in hand, so the Rhode Island is at your disposal.
Good to have you, Captain.
I have temporarily taken command of a cooperative vessel. You will not fight alone.
Wonderful, Seven.
The hierarchy also agreed to send a single ship to assist in the final assault. Under the command of yours truly, of course. I'm finally getting to use my emergency command subroutine. But you would not believe the amount of paperwork I had to fill out.
Fantastic.
Last but not least, the Hazari managed to spare a ship and put it under my command. Captain Neelix. I quite like the sound of that.
I am impressed with the show of support from our allies. However, my tactical analysis indicates that our forces are inferior to the Vodwar.
We have to. How sad. I hope you don't fight. Sorry.
The Vodwar are relentless. The probability of our survival is slim.
Eldex's help appears to be just for the Dr. Order.
Gall's ship has launched a drop pod to the planet. Sensors indicate he's on board.
Sir, we've arrived to help secure the area.
Excellent. I'm heading to the surface.
Welcome, my friends. You should have joined me when you had the chance. Your persistence is a credit to your race. But it is time for this sad story to end. Your blood will drench the sands of our blasted home.
It's over, Gaul. Surrender and save the lives of your remaining soldiers.
Congratulations. You have earned the right to die on the hallowed soil of Vadwa Prime. Although you are clearly not the brightest aliens in the universe, your bravery is admirable. And I do respect Starfleet for ending my people's long twilight. Surrender now, and I give you my word I will spare your people. You and the other leaders will need to be executed, of course, but that is only to maintain order. Personally, I bear you no ill will.
He will never.
That's twice you've refused my generosity. I should be insulted, but your pitiful blindness makes it difficult.
I feel only contempt for your delusion.
The Vadwa controlled this quadrant once, and our new allies have only made us stronger. Is that the best you've got?
Now's your chance! Defeat Gaul!
I thought you might know. I took the liberty of scanning Gaul for a moment. He does not have a parasite. And I don't think he ever did.
What? That's impossible!
The Vadwa Empire will never fall, and you will not even be a footnote in our glorious history. Time after time we rise from the ashes, and we are stronger for doing so.
Your logic is flawed, Gaul. You are already defeated. The evil I mistakenly unleashed on the galaxy ends at last.
My people and the galaxy must believe the parasites were behind his madness.
The remaining Vaadwaur have surrendered. What is your current situation?
Gaul's command center, and Gaul is dead.
Were you able to determine why he returned to the surface? It was a tactical error. Even if underspace was closed to him, Gaul would have had more opportunities to escape if he had remained in his ship.
Not yet. Join us and we can investigate.
Certainly. May I recommend Seven, Captain Kim, the Doctor, and Neelix join us as well. Their insight may be valuable.
Absolutely. Would you contact them for me? There's a long period of time where the bridges in this map were broken, so it was hard to proceed. So they got around to fixing it finally.
War is just a pointless waste of life. Usually for a political reason that doesn't much matter in the long term anyway. I understand that sometimes we need to fight to defend those who cannot defend themselves. I respect that. But what Gaul was doing here was madness. It's one thing for him to want to rebuild his people. It's something entirely different to destroy dozens of worlds to do so.
While this conflict was regrettable, it was ultimately for the greater good. Gaul's hubris and ambition blinded him to the harm he was doing to the Delta Quadrant and his own people. Now the threat is ended. There will be time to heal the damage he has done.
Or are they acting alone? I had to turn down the game music a little bit because
Honestly, I wasn't sure about coming back to the Delta Quadrant. I have a family and a life back home, and the idea of being 70,000 light years away again wasn't appealing. But seeing the good we've done for the Kabali, and now stopping the Vaadwaur, I think we were needed here. You were needed. Thank you. It's been a pleasure serving with you. I hope we meet again.
I've been serving with you, Captain Kim.
I was responsible for the return of the Vaadwaur. Even though Admiral Janeway told me she might have done the same thing, it was ultimately my actions that allowed all this destruction to happen. I participated in the assimilation of many different species during my time with the Borg. Those acts weigh on me. The wanton slaughter caused by the Vaadwaur will do so as well.
Seven, you couldn't have known what would happen.
Nevertheless, I am pleased I could, in some way, make up for my actions. By assisting the Touré, working with the Cooperative, and fighting the Vaadwaur here today, we have helped end what began more than 30 years ago when I activated those stasis tubes and freed the Vaadwaur. Thank you.
Welcome, Sam. You couldn't...
I'm not a man who normally dwells on revenge, but when Gaul and his soldiers attacked my people, it was almost all I could think about. Dexa helped me to see that death doesn't heal wounds of the heart, but thank you. This quadrant is safer now that Gaul and his soldiers are defeated, and I'm glad I was here to see it happen.
Fine, my friend. Detecting unusual radiation emanating from that door.
Intriguing. This device is not familiar to me, but it does not appear to be of Vaadwaur origin. I will bring it back to Voyager for further analysis.
Congratulations! Your leadership during the assault on Vaadwaur Prime and the subsequent defeat of Gaul was inspired. With Gaul's defeat and the destruction of his fleet, we have secured the Delta Quadrant against a terrible threat, and I hope this is the last that we see of the neural parasites and infected Vaadwaur. I'm surprised at how well that ragtag band of ships work together. I knew our ships would be fine, and the Federation, for all their faults, are tenacious in battle. But no one from the Delta Quadrant has particularly impressed me. Until today. Before we pour the blood wine, though, we need to find out more about the artifact you discovered. Admiral Tuvok is leading an analysis. I will contact you once we have more information. Admiral Tuvok and Captain Kim are leading the analysis of the artifact you found on Vaadwaur Prime. I knew you'd want to be there for the great reveal, so I've arranged for you and your crew to be part of the team. Rendezvous with Voyager to get started.
Yeah, she's interesting because she's a Klingon Bajoran hybrid, and up until this game, they'd never seen such a thing happen before. So it's one of the things that's kind of cool with the alien system in the game is you can sort of make theoretical hybrid races, like my Romulan that I played for the stream, for example, is like
Welcome back to Voyager. We were about to begin studying the device you recovered from Gall's communication center. Since you have spearheaded much of our efforts here, I would like you to take the lead once again. Captain Kim and 7 of 9 are at your disposal. Talk with them if you need more help deciphering the device. When you finish your analysis, return to me for further orders. I will be here in the transporter room to see you off.
Understood, Admiral. I'll take a look at the device.
Glad you're here. We transported the device to engineering here so we could run all the scans and tests we could think of. The first thing we need to do is determine how it's communicating. We can't find any normal transmissions from it, but we're hoping you have some new ideas to bring to the table.
All of our self-proclaimed members of masters of subspace and the Delta Quadrant. We hypothesize the device might be able to be directed through subspace. If evading resonance, the device does appear to be designed to communicate with similar devices located in subspace. Captain, keep looking for it.
The device communicates with subspace. We should have guessed that. Now comes the hard part. We need to access the device's memory core. The engineering team here on Voyager is good, and I've heard your team is top-notch, but it might take more time than we have for either team to make a full analysis. We should have both teams give you their opinions on the device. If we work together, hopefully we can make a breakthrough.
Hello, Carthy.
You'll need to set switches on the device until we get solid readings. We'll be able to tell if switches are in the correct position, but not which switches. Good luck.
So I'll go set the switches and you have teams tell what state the device is in.
The engineering teams are reading big zeros across the board. None of the switch... Sir, I've consulted with both the engineers here on Voyager and your chief engineer. I am seeing green across the board. All the switches are in the correct position, and we now have access to the primary memory core of the device. Unfortunately, we're only halfway there. Now we need to access the secondary memory core to get full access to the data we need. The engineers tell me there is only one switch in the correct orientation. Unfortunately, The engineering teams tell me 2 of the switches are in the correct mode. Unfortunately, we don't... The engineering teams tell me 2 of the switches are in the correct... Looks like you did it again! All the switches are in the correct position, and we now have full access to the memory core of the device. 7 of 9 should be of assistance in accessing the memory banks of that device. She's in astrometrics, attempting to get a fix on the location of who, or what, is receiving these transmissions.
Excellent. I'll go see 7 of 9.
We have access to the databanks of the device. Very efficient work. From the data we have received so far, we will be able to pinpoint the exact transmission coordinates. However, it is possible that doing so may alert whomever is on the other end that we have reverse-engineered their technology. There are 3 likely ways to get at the information. I suggest further analysis to determine the best course of action.
Fascinating. Excellent work. With this location, we may be able to finally reveal who gave the Vaadwaur their advanced technology, and why the neuroparasites appeared again in this time and place. Commander Jirok of the Romulan Republic has requested to join you on this operation. Her own analysis of the device has shown that the Romulans have had some contact with the creators of this device, a race known as the Ilachi. She will meet you in subspace at the given coordinates. Finally, Voyager's emergency medical hologram, the Doctor, will be assigned to your crew. His knowledge of the Delta Quadrant races may prove invaluable. He's not much of a combatant, but should prove useful.
Hello again.
Arriving in a moment, looks like Gaul's communications were to an Alachi outpost. It's still active, sir. I'm picking up several Alachi ships in the area. Go on a yellow alert and keep an eye on those Alachi ships.
Greetings. This is Commander Jirok of the RRW Lisette. When we learned that the Alachi were involved, I requested to shadow you on this mission. I know your experience with the Alachi is limited. The Romulan Republic, however, has an extensive history with this race. The Tal Shiar used Alachi to help invade Veronat, a colony made up of Romulan refugees seeking to make a new life for themselves. The two factions worked together to convince Romulan colonies to join the Tal Shiar. It was in spite of this that the Romulan Republic was forged. We fought off the Tal Shiar and eventually made a stand against the Alachi at New Romulus. Many Romulans gave their lives in defense of our new homeworld. But that final defense seemed to quiet Alachi attacks for quite some time, barring the occasional incursion from subspace. Alright, we'll follow your lead here. We're seeing 3 patrol groups. Recommend we eliminate them before we board the station. Alachi ship is here to defend the outpost.
Arrived at the outpost station. The outpost station? Double statement there. Station. Outpost. You don't need to have both words there. The doctor has offered his extensive knowledge of Delta Quadrant. In addition, Commander Jirok is taking away team site to another part of the facility. She wants to speak with you before we begin.
I was thinking we should split up and cover as much of the facility as we can, unless you have a better idea.
Doctor, your take on the situation?
This is obviously an Alachi facility. What I know about them comes from the Romulan Republic's databases, but I should be able to learn more as we examine this location. The air here is suitable for the Alachi, which means that you may find breathing difficult. I, of course, do not have that problem. If you have an environmental suit, or even some sort of rebreather, you will be fine. If you don't, keep an eye out for something that could help filter out the toxins. These are Solinate tables. I've read the Enterprise D's reports about them. These are definitely Solinate tables. The Solinate kidnap victims through subspace for their brutal experiments. If they are somehow connected to the Alachi and the Vaadwaur, this is beginning to make more sense. If I had to guess, there must be a stasis room nearby. We should find it and rescue anyone in there who can still be saved. It looks as if they are converting their captives into more Alachi. If my readings are correct, there are several individuals here who have only just begun the conversion process. We can save them if we beam them back to your ship. Good. You found the breathing apparatus. That should take care of that nasty cough. Ah, a Hazari. Stay calm. We'll get you the medical attention you need. We're transporting you to a Romulan ship in orbit. You're going to be fine. Transport this Talaxian directly to sickbay. You'll be back on duty before you know it. One to beam up. A Kazon? Even the Borg won't assimilate to Kazon. This is no way for a proud Klingon warrior to go out. We'll patch him up immediately. Everything will be fine, Mr. Ture. We'll beam you directly to sickbay. Well, the Solanae are definitely involved. I believe I have everything I need from this area. We need to keep moving if we hope to meet up with Commander Jarok. The door is unlocked now. We should keep going.
exactly what it is, and they've just had a breakout. Whoever it was, they used our arrival as the distraction they needed to make their move. I'll keep looking for more information, but I hope the escapees are friendly.
A prison break? Maybe I should go back to the ship. Neural parasites. This must be where the Vaadwaur were implanted with those mind-controlling bugs. Neural parasites. Just as I suspected. Did you know that several Starfleet officers were infected by these in the mid-2360s? The Enterprise logs from that era are fascinating reading, if you ever have a few dozen hours to spare. If Gaul and the infected Vaadwaur were communicating with this station, it stands to reason that this may be the facility where the bluegill implantation takes place. We should definitely investigate further. If we can find the implantation room, then I should be able to analyze their equipment and gather more information. I don't believe it. The empirical evidence is right in front of me, but I'm actually having difficulty processing this information. This tech, this whole facility, it's Iconian. There are variations on the norm, of course, because of the Solanae and Alachi influence, but I see distinct signs of their presence throughout the facility. The Iconians, as we know them, rarely reveal themselves. The only known interaction with an Iconian in modern history took place on Kronos, when... Wait, you were there! I don't need to explain that situation again. As I was saying, the Iconians don't like to act directly. They use servitor races, like the Alachi and the Solanae, to cause chaos in their name. And the neural parasites, they've bioengineered. Rather like the founders created the Jem'Hadar, but sophisticated enough to control another species, and with much less free will. The parasites are a weapon.
What about the Vaadwaur? They were active before the Iconians revealed.
When Voyager revived the Vaadwaur, their technology was outdated compared to what other powers in the Delta Quadrant had at that time. Even the Kazon outdid them. But now, Vaadwaur technology is cutting edge. The only way they could have advanced so far, so fast, was by allying themselves with someone else, with the Iconians. The Vaadwaur got their tech upgrades from them, but they also got the neural parasites. The parasites gave the Vaadwaur power, but they gave the Iconians control. They were ultimately the ones pulling the strings. This entire war has been against an enemy we didn't even see.
That's the information we need to find. Let's move up with That's the information that we need to find. Let's move up. Let's meet up with Commander Jirok and get off this station.
Some of this technology is ancient, but it's quite advanced. These parasites aren't a natural species at all. They look engineered. This is more like a factory than a laboratory.
Romulan in prisoner garb. He was part of the breakout, but I don't know if he was part of the Republic or loyal to the Tal Shiar. Keep an eye out. The prisoners are headed in your direction.
Yeah, maybe we should avoid any potential contact with the prisoner? I think I've seen enough combat for today.
How fortuitous. I thought I'd have to find a way off this station alone.
See, look, she's kind of like a cockroach. You think you've taken her out and taken her all the way back up?
More Alachi. I don't think the Iconians want me to leave. Their tenacity is almost admirable.
Looks like you could use a hand.
And now we have their leader's attention.
Sela! I should kill you where you stand. It would be justice for all the lives you've destroyed.
Calm down, Jarok.
And if you do, you'll never learn about the Iconians. I've been here for months. I've seen enough to know you need my help.
Very valuable information.
Fine, you interrogate her. I might get a little carried away. But she returns with me to the Lisette when you're finished here. Sela is a prisoner of the Romulan Republic. Your government can go through official channels if they want to talk to her.
You and this Sela person seem to have some history. I'll leave you to speak to her.
Not so fast. You have the weapons, but I have the information. If you want to learn what I know, you'll need to keep those Romulan rebels under control. You've stumbled into something much greater than you're prepared to handle. I'm the best ally you have. I assume you already know where you are. Both the Alachi and the Solanae serve the Iconians. The Alachi are their warriors, and the Solanae are their scientists. They're the ones who created those creatures implanted into the Vaadwaur.
Parasites, why did the Iconians on here but not on the Tal Shiar?
Hakiv joined the Iconians out of faith. He thought the Iconians would create an empire he could rule. That did not go as planned. This time the Iconians wanted to control their puppets. When the Vaadwaur asked for strength to defeat their enemies, the Iconians gave them the parasites. The Vaadwaur had strength, but also strings. Strings that have now been cut. I'm sure you had something to do with that.
Yes, alongside the Alliance, the Federation, and the Romulan Republic.
All three of you working together? The world has changed in my absence. Or were the Vaadwaur that much of a threat to the Alpha Quadrant?
Actually, we're in the Delta Quadrant.
That explains some things. I'd love an escort back to the world at large, but I have a feeling you have some questions first.
I do have a few questions.
I'll answer what I can. You can believe what you want.
What is your relationship with the Iconians? Were you their prisoner or their ally?
How important is that really? I worked with the Iconians because at the time I thought it was the best thing for my people. After we lost the homeworld, we were scattered, starving, a shadow of what we once were. What were we supposed to do, beg the Federation or the Klingons for scraps? Pathetic. The so-called Romulan Republic has made their way, but they did it at the cost of Romulan dignity.
More important than survival?
We are not refugees. We are Romulan. We needed a strong leader to bind us together again, and I knew I could be that leader. The Iconians were a means to an end. They gave us strength at a time when we were at our weakest. Had I known what Hakiv, what he and the Iconians did to our world, perhaps I would not have made the same decision. Dwelling on the past is meaningless. I am here, and so are you. Today, our goals are aligned. We both want to stop the Iconian advance. You need me.
Fine, another thing I want.
I'll answer what I can. You can. Hubris. The Iconians think they are the rulers of the galaxy. They thought so 200,000 years ago, when they were driven off their homeworld by the fire of 1,000 races allied against them. They think so now, when they look at us and see us as children stumbling in the dark. They do not see our strength, our willingness to fight. Use their hubris against them, and the Iconians will fall.
Another thing I want to talk to you.
I'll answer what I can. You can believe. I honestly don't know. Why would they share their plans with a prisoner? That may make me less valuable in your eyes, but don't be fooled. I know more about the Iconians' operations than they realize. I'll answer what I can. You can believe what you want. Ah, the crew. The Alachi took them one by one and turned them into those things. Revolting. If I had known that was what they were doing with the captives from the colonies, I would have... Yes, you were asking about the crew. A handful of us were still alive when the station went on alert. We took a chance and made our escape. They died, nobly, as Romulans protecting their Empress. I will remember their sacrifice.
I have some other...
I'll answer what I can. You can believe what you want.
No more questions this time.
Will I be taken into your custody, or will I be left to Chiaru's tender mercies?
Mean that in the spirit of the Corporation, Commander Jark will take custody. Strict orders to deliver directly to Alliance Command. Not to be harmed.
Very well. It's not like I have a choice in the matter, do I?
Nope. That one to be mounted. I add occasional words in the reading because I think it just makes the sentence a little better. Or it just feels more in character for the character I'm playing. Finished here, Captain. Sela is safely in the brig of Lisette, although I think there will be a lot of negotiations between them. We know what will happen to her. Until then, we should report our findings to Admiral Tuvok.
We have Empress Sela in our brig. When she was taken by the Iconians last year, many of my people thought she would get away with her heinous crimes against the galaxy. With her in my brig, I am happy to know that is no longer a possibility. Of course, I understand that the Romulan Republic's claim on her is not unique. Her crimes are against all of the Alpha Quadrant. To that end, I will ensure that she be made available to all the Alliance leaders for interrogation and debriefing.
Well, that wasn't exactly what I'd call a walk in the park. At least we know exactly how the Iconians were controlling the Vaadwaur, and you've certainly put a crimp in their plans. On the upside, as a photonic life form, I'm immune to any attempts at subversion by neural parasites. I'll see to the care of the captives we've rescued. In the meantime, it sounds like you and the Romulan Republic Command have a lot to talk about. Sela certainly has a story to tell, but should we believe all of it? I'll put a bug in Admiral Janeway's ear about the situation. That was a joke, by the way. You're going to be busy. Don't overdo... Oh, who am I kidding? Command officers never take their doctor's advice. Just remember that you're not in this alone. Good luck. I suspect things are starting to get interesting.
Iconians! That I did not expect. It's a lot to take in, and while I'm sure the former Empress has some interesting stories to tell, I know the Romulan Republic will want her to answer for her crimes against her people. There will be some tricky back-channel negotiations before this all shakes out. I'll keep you posted as much as I can.
We have a situation on Kabali Prime. You and I were both asked by name to help. All that I've been told is that the Vaadwaur have launched a large offensive and have retaken the area in front of their temple, the place where they keep unconscious Vaadwaur stored. They need our help to retake the area, though I have a feeling something else is going on. Can you help with the situation? embrace your help. The Rhode Island is assisting the new Kabali flagship Samsar, but you know the Vaadwaur. They're relentless.
If they have, they may already be reactivating their soldiers into